What's up, Benfica Nation? Welcome to episode 85, the season 3 premiere of Mr. Benfica. I am your host, as always, the Mr. Mike Agustino, and I wish that I was a lot happier today. Let's just say Tuesday sucked, and However, if you're telling me that you're surprised that you didn't see it coming, I think you need to get your eyes checked, to be honest, because this is the same team we had just a month ago when we lost the cup final, and there's a few new players, but not that many, and 80 million euros spent, and Seferovic is still our striker. Andre Almeida is still our right back, and he's wearing the captain's armband, which is the biggest insult of all. And yeah, people are blaming JJ. There's actually people calling for a new coach already. Insanity. Well, tonight I've got a guest with me. All right. I've brought in my Greek soccer correspondent. Okay. He knows the Greek league. He knows the teams. You heard him last week when I had him on the Parking the Bus podcast. He's on every single episode of the Parking the Bus podcast with me. He is the resident guru. He is the resident DGen. And if you want to know how to make some money betting on sports, this is the guy to go to. But he's also the PTB Network's resident expert on Greek football. Let's welcome in Leo Koukakis from DGens United. I'm unmuting you right now, Leo.
Hey, what's up, Capitano?
What's going on, Leo? How you doing, brother?
I'm hurting a little bit, man. After Benfica let me down like that. Woo-wee.
Yeah, let the listeners know how you thought, or where'd you put your money in this match?
My money was all over Benfica. I didn't think that this game was going to be close. I had Benfica to keep a clean sheet as well. Once I saw the lineups, I looked at your lineup and I said, yeah, it's a strong lineup. I'm not very high on PAOK this year. PAOK doesn't really have much of a striker to depend on. Next thing you know, first half looked great. I went into halftime. I'm like, oh, this is great. This is fantastic. Benfica dominating the match. No, who knows? Maybe Seferovic will run into one by accident.
That's the only way.
Oh my God! What a disaster of a second half.
There are definitely two Seferoviches. Okay, I'm convinced. There's one in training that must look like, a combination of Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi, because every single manager cannot help himself but to start this guy. And then there's the one we see in official matches. All right. In the preseason, I think we saw more of the training Seferovic. And now when it's for real, we saw the one we know. Now, to be honest, Seferovic, I understood why he started. Okay. He started because JJ wants to play a high pressing system. Carlos Vinicius doesn't bring that for you. We don't know enough about Darwin Nunez yet. So he went with what he knew. And for 30 minutes, we were playing exactly how the manager wanted, how we want them to play, but they don't have enough in the tank yet to play like that all game, and I think they lacked some intelligence in pacing themselves in this game.
Yeah, I mean, just overall, I still can't get over Seferovic. I mean, it really comes down to that for me. If a couple months ago, really, we were talking about Vinny, and you were telling me that the owner thought he was, or the president, whatever, believes he's worth $100 million.
Yeah, he does.
And you send out Seferovic? I don't understand. It doesn't make sense. This is a fantastic graphic. This is brand new right here. I dig it.
I'm going to have you read the 11 starters for PAOK, Leo.
Yeah, so in goal they had Zivkovic.
The other Zivkovic.
Then they the other Zivkovic. We'll get into the other one soon. But back line, they had 3-man back line. They had Ingason, they had Varela, and then they had Michailidis. The midfield, you had the two wing backs. I don't know if you want to count it as a 5.
It was a 5 for all intents and purposes. When they didn't have the ball, that's exactly what they were, and they real effective 5-man back line, actually.
Yeah, it looks pretty good. On the right-hand side, you did have Crespo. On the left-hand side, you had Giannoulis. Giannoulis, of course, the one that scores the first goal.
Yeah, you had put a shout out to keep an eye on him, and that was a good shout.
Oh, I love that kid. I love this. Honestly, I'm not high on PAOK this year, but they do have the 3 players in Giannoulis, Giolis, and Dimitri Pelka, who I'm very, very high on. They have your African midfield there with Schwab and El Kaduri, and then up top you have Dimitri Pelkas as the center attacking mid, and then up top you have Akpom and Ziolis as well. It really played more like a 3-4-3 most of the match, though. It wasn't necessarily Pelkas playing in the middle. But yeah, that was the starting 11 for PAOK.
All right, I'm going to scroll down here, and we're going to see. Can you tell I'm new at this YouTube stuff?
That's why you go live during the Celtics, man, when everybody's watching the Celtics.
That's right. That was exactly my intention. Now that you brought that up, that's how much Tuesday sucked. All right. Because first Benfica lays an egg here. All right. Then my boy there, Dennis Paiva, loses on the UFC. All right. Straight out of East Providence, Rhode Island, Portuguese-American kid, loses a decision in the UFC Dana White Contender Series. And then lastly, the Celtics did what they did, and I was pissed. I've been pissed off ever since. But Benfica go in there in a change, is a bit of a change. And not sure exactly why. And I don't even know that this lineup you're seeing here is accurate. I think it lined up a little bit differently than this. But you had Odie in goal. For some reason, Andre Almeida is the right back because we had all summer to go find another one. And for 5 years, we've been saying we can't go into the Champions League with Andre Almeida as our right back. And for the 5th year in a row, we go into the Champions League with Andre Almeida as our right back. And that's it for the Champions League. Ruben Diaz and Jan Vertonghen are the center backs. The left back is Alex Grimaldo. Weigl was playing more of a number 6 than this chart is showing. Maybe if they had played like this, it might have even, if it had actually worked this way, it might have even been a better system. And then you had also in midfield Adel Taarabt, who I'll get into it with. I'm going to lose a faction of my listeners tonight because Adel Taarabt is incredibly popular, and he's not popular with me, to put it simply. Listen, he is a talented player. He's skilled. But when it comes to reading the game, he's completely illiterate. And this game showed it. Like, part of the problem is, and I'll go through the rest of the lineup. In the 3 attacking mids, you got Pizzi, Pedrinho, and Everton. And you got, like we said, the Swiss assassin with no bullets up front, Haris Seferovic. And so a little bit of surprise was Pedrinho coming into the lineup. Everyone was expecting Rafa there. I was expecting Rafa, and here's why I was expecting Rafa. And actually, Pedrinho was good. I didn't have a problem with him playing. I had a problem with Rafa not playing. Okay, and I'm gonna use Adel Taarabt as an example to Rafa. Okay, everyone loves Adel Taarabt because he's got skills and he passes well, and most of his passes come in the middle third. He either drops too deep to receive the ball, and then when he's going forward, he's trying to run at people and he's not seeing his teammates, or he's completing high percentage easy passes. Okay. Adel Taarabt played all those minutes last year, had all these high ratings, and we'll get to ratings towards the end. I have the player ratings, and I'll show you on the screen. Adel Taarabt typically does well in those categories. Adel Taarabt had 1 goal and 1 assist last season. For as much as everybody thinks he's this star and he's this born-again just stud, 1 goal, 1 assist. Meanwhile, Rafa can play the worst game of any player that's on the pitch. He can go 0 for 11 in dribbles. He can go, 0 for 10 in pass attempts. But you know what? He either gets a goal or he gets an assist almost every time he plays. Which one would you rather have?
The passer, duh.
Of course, possession wins championships, right?
There you go.
That's why we're going. That's why we're going to the Europa League with our 72% possession in this match. So that
you couldn't help yourself. You couldn't wait to throw that one in.
Never help myself on that one, but let's take that down and go back to the normal screen here. So that's where we start, and I've got here the play-by-play and. Basically, how I usually do this, Leo, I go through the plays of the game and that's not really a good format for a two-man show. So I'm just going to glance over. We'll talk about certain instances.
Yeah, let's go.
Right off the bat, Benfica comes out on the front foot, I would say. And they looked good. Like I said, for the first 30 minutes, they looked the team that was going to go after the goal, that was going to come out with something. I really liked Everton in this match. He was a good addition to the team. Playing out on the left, he completes a lot of dribbles. He completes his passes, but he also got himself into positions to either deliver good crosses or to give that final pass into the area. Of course, if Seferovic doesn't miss 2 headers in the first half, this game's completely different.
Yeah, Seferovic really did blow this game. I mean,
it's really hard to. I feel like we're gonna keep coming back to him, but
we really are. I mean, unfortunately in the first half it was that simple. PAOK didn't touch the ball. PAOK didn't have a chance. To put it into gambling perspective, going into the match, Benfica to keep a clean sheet was at plus 215. At halftime, because of how little PAOK had the ball and the fact that I don't think they had a shot on goal. They might have had one by accident, but nothing serious on goal. They were down.
They had one
Benfica,
off a set piece, I think.
Yes, that's right.
They got a header off a set piece that was saved.
But Benfica went from plus 215, they were minus 250 to keep that clean sheet at halftime because of the way that they were dominating the game. And then it looked, but this game really did look like a lot of the games that I watch in the Portuguese league. Now, obviously, I don't watch as much as you, but every
Benfica you watch game more than most.
So every Benfica game that I watch, I mean, it looks similar. Benfica dominate the game. One Malakia goal the other way, and then there you go. It's all over. Here comes the second one, and then Benfica will score one. They'll tickle your huevos a little bit, and then they end up losing.
Yeah, it's exactly that. And, really unlucky on Pizzi's free kick that hits the pole and doesn't go in. But it was, it was 6 inches too much to the left. And it's the best free kick I think I've ever seen him take, because he's been taking them for about 3 years. I don't think he's scored one yet. That was the closest he's come. And, I thought, like I said, Pedrinho started slow. He started with a lot of mistakes. He's nervous. He's brand new. I said this when I was on the show I think I said this when I was on Benfica After 90 with Mario and those boys. He had never even left Corinthians in Brazil, much like his club. Never mind leaving Brazil altogether. Right. So Pedrinho is having an adjustment period. There are people now, this is becoming a pet peeve of mine. And when people start applying North American sports logic to European football, and there are people saying that if you pay 20 million for a guy, he should start right away and should score 30 goals and 20 assists, which nobody gets 30 goals and 20 assists in any league. Almost. There's 2 guys in the world that get those kind of numbers. And to put it back into betting terms, okay? You get a young guy like a Pedrinho or a Darwin Nunez, right? They cost 20 plus million, but they're 22 and 20 years old, something like that. They're what I call a futures bet, if you put it in gambling terms. You're signing them for 5 years. So that 20 million is not intended for them to get off the plane today and put in a hat trick in the Champions League and lead the team. They're kids. If in 3 years they're scoring 20 goals a game, each of them, that's a hell of an investment. Right. You're getting them at today's price versus the price that they're going to be at that time. Now, a lot of people don't see things that way. And I think what it is a lot of, I don't know how you feel about this, Leo, but you're a Man City supporter. They spend money. Do you care how much money they spend on a player?
No.
The overall payroll actually matter to you?
No. It doesn't even matter to me in FIFA in the video game. No. I don't care how much they spend. Go get me a damn trophy, please. Yeah. I don't care what it takes. The only reason that I was opposed to bringing in Messi was because it was going to cost us Bernardo, Gabriel,
right.
And who was the other one? Eric Garcia.
Yeah.
No. You want to pay $1 billion for Messi? By all freaking means. I'm not buying tickets. Doesn't affect my ticket prices.
Yeah, and, the player market is not a conventional market. The prices are not set on anything logical.
Yeah.
It's all set on, past. It's a bubble in which it's going to burst at some point. I thought it was going to burst during the COVID stoppage. And to some extent it did. Players have gone for less money. I mean, we're getting Vertonghen on a free because that bubble burst. Right. Otherwise, he's probably got a transfer fee attached. But You pay 20 million for a kid. It's a 5-year plan. It's 5 million a year. It's like, it's an investment. It's like going to your bank and getting a certificate deposit for 5 years. You're not going to be able to cash it out the next day and get a return.
Right, absolutely.
And that's when you buy young players, that's what you do. Now, whether or not we needed young players is a whole different conversation. I think we wasted all the summer courting Cavani, which blew up in our face. I think he was playing games with us from the beginning.
You know what the worst part about? I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt.
Go
The
for
worst part about this game? We've spent the first few minutes bitching about Seferovic. How different is this game with Cavani?
Oh, it's completely different.
It's over. It's over.
Probably
it's
one of those
4-0
headers.
Benfica.
Yeah, all this game needed for Benfica was the first one. Okay, now Abel, the manager of PAOK, knows Benfica very well. He knows Jorge Jesus very well. He'd never beaten him before. Okay, or he's never beaten Benfica, excuse me. He's beaten Jorge Jesus, I think, 3 times in a row now, maybe 4. When JJ was the manager at Sporting, he lost to Abel a couple of times. He did exactly what I kind of expected him to do. One, because he's a Portuguese manager, and this is what they're strong at. He sat back for the first. He weathered the storm, waited, knew that Benfica had a new team, or had new players in the team, new key players. Knew that there were weaknesses to exploit, and I'm going to hurt some feelings when I say that Grimaldo is a weakness. In the Champions League, he's a weakness.
Yeah.
He cannot defend. I don't care how good you are going forward. When you're a defender, you have to be able to defend. That second goal, I don't know. I know he's exhausted, but he's not even positioned right.
How'd you feel about Vertonghen?
He's fine. I honestly would have. We didn't make the sign. Had we gone out and gotten Ruben Semedo from Olympiacos like we want to, I know Leo is a Panathinaiko fan. Okay.
Okay.
So to the listeners, I just shouted out his equivalent to a Porto player. Okay. So that's why you see those of you watching live on YouTube. If you haven't noticed, we are live on YouTube right now. New feature of Mr. Benfica this season. Okay. But had we brought him in, okay, he plays right central defense. Ruben Dias on the Portuguese national team plays left central defense, and Pep from Porto plays right. So that's an easy change. And Vertonghen could have been the left back. He functions very well as a left back. He played 2 matches for Belgium at left back in this last international window.
Right.
And then we're a much more solid left. And then they're just going to try to attack the right. Now, when I had the lineup up, my big problem is the left side of the field is still soft as a pillow. Grimaldo, you got Grimaldo, you got Cebolinha, Everton is his name, his nickname Cebolinha. He's a great player going forward. He's not a midfielder that comes back in defense. Okay, you also have on the left center mid Adel Taarabt. Now, if I'm Abel Ferreira, excuse me, I'm attacking down our left. You're right the whole match. I'm making them make a substitution essentially, or pull somebody else out of position,
right?
Because that side was an absolute highway. It's a freeway. Granted, the first goal comes from the other side, but I saw that and I said, I'd lost all confidence once I saw the starting 11 because there was no steel in there. You're going to play a Greek team in Greece. They want to fight. They're not going to go down easy. They're going to fight. And there's a lot of ignorance among supporters and among journalists towards Greek football. They seem to have forgotten July 4th of 2004. I know you didn't forget that day.
I didn't. I remind you of it at least once.
And the fact that I know that date, even without you I know that date.
Oh, what a beautiful day.
Portuguese football fans seem either too young to remember, but I don't know where they get off thinking that this is going to be an easy match when we are losing to Marítimo and Santa Clara months ago. Yeah, we bring in 2 or 3 players, but guess what? The core is still pretty much the same.
Right.
You don't change a culture overnight. And you want to go after the manager over this? Well, you see just how big of a job he has to do here. It's not as easy as just coming in, sprinkling dust on it, and everyone starts playing. Like he said when he was introduced, he said that we're not going to play double what we played last year. We're going to play triple. But that doesn't happen in 5 weeks.
Right. So, I mean, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
How did you feel about Vlachodimo? Because I thought Vlachodimo was really disappointed in the match.
You thought he was disappointing? I was okay with him. I
He's the
didn't
type
think.
of guy, though. Again, I have a slight bias toward
Sure,
Vlachodimo, but
but you also have an insight.
that's true. But I mean, dude, are you gonna make a big save? I thought in that first goal when they kind of crossed it over, I thought he wasn't in a good position. I
Okay.
felt like that was a ball that he could have made a play on. He probably parries it out to the middle of the box, which you never want to do. But at the same time, it's like he looked like he was frozen there, and it's like, dude, what do you rise and shine, Malaka? And like you said last week, players go into their home country, you expect them to play a little bit better. We talked about it with Bernardo Silva when Manchester City went to Lisbon, and plenty of times like this. You talked about it with Samaris last week. No Samaris.
Yeah, he ended up being injured. Apparently, that's why he was left off.
Either way, not that good. But I expected more out of Vlachodimo in the game, to be honest. I mean, he did not play well. And honestly, the other thing with PAOK that shocked me was Zivkovic plays in goal. I was stunned. This coach, PAOK, is the most stubborn team I've ever seen in my life when it comes to the goalies. They love Pascalidis, dude. This guy, I mean, like in non-important games, they won't play him. In every important game, they go with Pascalidis. I was almost 100% sure that we were going to see him. I didn't see him on the lineup.
He played against Besiktas, didn't he?
I
thought the scouting report I had showed this Zivkovic playing in that previous game.
Possibly, but generally speaking, it's like
generally speaking, he's not. He's usually the like League Cup goalie, right?
No, yeah. I mean, he plays in every big game. He only plays in the big games, the derby matches, the big ones. He will only play in those big games, and it's like a running joke in Greece. And then he turned out to be the national team goalie for a little while, and we're like, what the hell's wrong with this dude? But Zivkovic, really good game out of him, and I think
he had good saves. Last season I said this about Benfica, the analytics site that I use, and I'll bring it up a little bit later. Every time we play somebody, their goalkeeper is their man of the match. And I figured this out towards the end of the season. And guess who the man of the match on the PAOK side was?
Zivkovic.
So, I could be wrong about that, but I'm guessing. But what happens is we shoot right at goalkeepers and they rack up saves. And in an analytics sense, they get great ratings. Goalkeepers love playing us because we hit them with our shots. First half, we had a couple good shots, right? Pedrinho has one that forces a save, but it's right down the middle. It almost, went up and dipped under the bar and over the keeper, but it's still, the goalkeeper didn't have to move much from right to left to make the save.
Right.
Everton, same thing, had a good effort. We had the headers that were missed, but we keep shooting right at the goalie, or we miss the goalkeeper, or we miss the goal, I mean. And then we see, I guess we can fast forward to the second half. We see the goal that PAOK scores, the first one, right? I love those kind of goals, and here's why. And here's what irritates me about Benfica is once we need a goal, we start rifling crosses. We got away from it in the beginning of the match, right? We were shooting from the outside, which we didn't do all of 2020 until this preseason. We never shoot from outside. Okay, so if you're a five-man, and then we wonder why we struggle to play against a five-man back line when we don't shoot from the outside and draw them out at all. So if you're PAOK, you're going to sit in with your deep line and be like, okay, try to pass through us, keep trying. Oh, you're going to cross it for your one forward, Seferovic. Okay, good luck with that. We got five back here.
Even if it gets to him, he's not doing anything anyway.
Exactly. They scouted. I thought that the PAOK did a great job scouting Benfica because they weathered they knew they were going to come out strong. They were ready for that initial burst because in the preseason, they've done that every match. They've come out with that burst and then they die down because they're not fit to play like that for a long, for an entire match.
Right.
They should have been, I think, a little bit more wise playing on the road, but we were undefeated in the preseason. There's your first problem. And the confidence was high, and we came out with a very, very offensive-minded lineup. There's literally the only defensive players in that lineup are the two central defenders. Okay? They're the only two guys with real defensive qualities. We didn't even list we only listed one other defensive player on the subs bench, which was Gilberto. And what would have happened was he was going to come in if a defensive substitution had to be made. Almeida was going to move either to the left or to the center if needed. But we came out with an overwhelmingly attack-minded, on the road no less. I think we were a little bit too ambitious in that respect. It's a little soon to be going at teams with that kind of fire. Now, had we won 4-0, had we scored 2 of those, in the first half, maybe we add 2 in the second, and he looks like a genius. Yeah, we've changed. We're playing attacking football now because everybody wants to play attacking football. I literally believe that fans would rather lose 5-4 than win 1-0 half the time.
Yeah, I mean, Manchester City kind of sort of has been playing the similar way for many years. I hate that style. Again, I'm Greek. I greatly prefer the 1-0 stuff. Give me great defense. Give me everything possible. That's just my style, man.
At one end of the pitch, you got us right trying to serve one forward, crossing it, right? We're not gaining the end line. PAOK goes down once, down the left, because our right back is Andre Almeida. So enough said. But he gets beat, okay? And PAOK gains the end line. And now what happens is you have forced, when you get in behind and you start heading towards goal, you have forced the back line to turn and face their own goal. That first goal goes in because Vertonghen has to turn and face his own goal.
Right.
That never happens if you're crossing from 30 yards away.
Right.
They're always able to face outward. They got their goal to their back, and all they got to do is redirect it forward. Now it's a lot harder when you're facing your own goal. The ball comes and you've got to redirect it this way or back or anywhere but into your own goal. So he does, I think, a good job. If Vertonghen doesn't get a poke on that, I still think he put it in the net. But if he's not, if he's not there, it's an easy tap in. So,
right.
But that's what happens when you get the defense turned around facing their own goal. You can whip that ball in, and it can hit them and go in. It's twice as hard to clear to send that clear than it is when you're facing away from your own goal. Yeah, we continue to play into defense when defenses play with low blocks. We play into them. The whole game is in front of them. It's like in American football, a free safety just sees everything in front of him, and he's one step ahead. He's reading the quarterback's eyes, and as soon as he sees the receiver, he's cheating, and he's there one step ahead. That's literally how we allow teams to defend against us, because we sit back, we go slow, because we get in this game. It was more because of fatigue, because we are playing a higher tempo than we were last season. But typically we move the ball slow. They have all the time in the world to read the game, and you see one counterattack changes the whole game. It completely from that moment forward, PAOK are the better team.
Right.
And I think PAOK were deserved winners. Anyone who disagrees with me, I'll give you my Fubo login to go in and watch the game again.
I have it. That's how I'm watching football right now.
Yeah. I seriously challenge you to watch it again if you don't think that the right team won this match. And I'm saying that with my team losing. Sometimes we have to see that. And again, the manager's brought in on a 2-year contract. This is a project. This is not he comes in, he snaps his fingers, and all of a sudden everybody turns into a world-class player.
Right.
You can't take chicken shit and make chicken soup. You never heard that one?
No,
Greek people not use that one?
No, we're not big on the chicken shit.
That's a staple in a Portuguese house.
That's remind me not to eat at your house, bro.
No, we don't eat it. That's the whole point. You can't take it and make the chicken soup out of it. Anyway,
we'll dive into that one tomorrow when we're both more awake.
Anyway, so I wish my team attacked the way that PAOK did on that play. We do it once in a while. We get a guy that Rafa can do that from time to time. Of course, Rafa's on the bench until we're losing 2-0. Because for whatever reason, okay, everybody's mad at him about last season, okay? Everyone's mad at Pizzi about last season. Pizzi had himself a decent match also. Andre Almeida, for me, is the guy that I can't look at anymore. I don't want to see him. I don't even, send him somewhere. I don't want to see him anymore. Put anybody there. I'm at that point, right? we had all this time. We still have to October 5th. Go get a decent right back. Because this guy is not. Listen, it's been years and he's been serviceable. I think he's got like 12 years or 9 years at the club now. Yeah. He's serviceable, but he is a role player that we have allowed to become a undisputed starter. And he's not good enough.
He's not that guy anymore.
If you have the ambitions we have.
Right.
So let's go here and I'll give you the exact minute here. It was 66th minute, okay? It's a substitution for each. So Benfica bring on Darwin Nunez, take out Pedrinho. I didn't like this substitution unless Pedrinho was gassed and needed it. Because he was actually doing things. He was actually creating. I like Darwin Nunez coming on, but it should have been for Seferovic. I wanted to see him play more in the number 9 role. Mm-hmm. He was fresh. He can apply pressure. Seferovic wasn't applying pressure anymore. Of course, we weren't really seeing the ball the same way anymore either. But at the other bench, the counter move, Andrius Zivkovic comes in for Dimitrios Pelkas. This is okay. Now you are the betting guru. Was that not a layup of a bet that he was going to score in this match?
Honestly, I saw him come in and I was like, oh,
I knew it. I knew it. You know why? This happens all the time. Luka Jovic, Renato Sanchez, dude. These guys, Angel Di Maria, these guys, when they go to another team and they play us, they score on us. It happens every time.
Man. I watched it. I'm like, no, they're not going to do this. And
they did it.
And then did you see the celebration?
He didn't celebrate. Yeah.
Forget about celebrating. There's a way
hilarious.
Like not to celebrate.
But this was hilarious because here is this guy who's been outcast as a bad apple in the team, and we spent 2 years trying to get rid of him. And then in that lack of goal celebration, he showed more respect for our club than our president shows on a daily basis.
Dude, I mean, like,
it epitomizes everything that's wrong at our club.
Not even a smile after scoring a goal. Like, you know that felt really good for him. And like,
but he played it off like, goal. I'm so sorry, dude.
He literally played it off like he was sorry, hands up, and just not even a freaking smirk. Like, dude, A+.
No, he played our board like a fiddle for the entire time he was here. He was our highest wage earner before we let him go. Yeah, we signed him out of the U20 World Cup, and he was going to be the future, right? And for whatever reason. Now, we talk about Seferovic. We've had 4 managers who cannot take him off. We had 4 managers who won't play this guy, who's talented. He shows that he had a little run there at the end of 2018, second half of that season, where him and Krovinovic played together really well for the second half of the season. We came up short that year, but it looked like that was a tandem we could build on for the next season. It didn't pan out past that point. But he's definitely a talented player. And I mean, at the age of, he's like one of the youngest to ever play for Serbia. I think he debuted at like 17 on the national team.
Yeah, he was super young.
And then the guy you alerted me on comes on 3 minutes later. Karol Swiderski comes on for Akpom.
Akpom sucks. That dude was terrible.
But you told me they liked this Swiderski kid last week. And he came on. I thought he was pretty good also. We finally make the substitute. So JJ is the third manager now in the last number of months that loves to switch strikers for the sake of switching strikers, because we bring on Carlos Vinicius for Haris Seferovic. Not a bad switch, but like I said, Seferovic should have been off already. And you're getting 2 different kinds of player. You're completely changing the makeup of your attack. And you're bringing on Vinicius, who is, yes, last year's Golden Boot winner, but has struggled all preseason to play in this system. He's struggled to be the type of striker that this manager is asking for. And shortly after that substitution, 3 minutes later, it's another counter. And let me tell you, I saw this coming because I see Zivkovic cutting in. You know, he's going down the right with the ball on his left foot. I see Grimaldo, so winded, trying to get back. He's literally walking and he's not even positioning his body. He's standing straight up like this. Like a touch to either side beats him. It's as if he's never had to defend before. Zivkovic, who probably did that to him in training plenty of times when he felt like it. What I understand from Zivkovic, when he feels like it, he does things like this. The matter of getting him to feel like it.
That was another one I looked at. I thought Vlaco Dimos should have at least gotten closer to
I
it.
thought he might have. Yeah, I thought maybe because where else was he going to shoot that?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the 9 times out of 10 that shot's going to the near post.
I mean, if he curls it into the top 90, hands up, all right, bro.
Yeah, exactly. So I would agree with you there. I thought maybe he could have done a little bit better there. From what I read, he's not the manager's favorite goalkeeper. He's the one we got right now, but he's been frustrated.
Send him back, please. Oh, come on. Oh, now you got my hopes up.
I don't know. It sounds like he's not the biggest fan of him, which, having watched him play, 72 matches now for Benfica, 75 matches, I like him. But I think you're right. He has a ceiling, obviously, and he's not as good with his feet as this manager likes. And I think that's the big standing point is he's not as good with his feet. And
be like Manchester City. Go sign Claudio Bravo for 40 million and not play him.
Yeah, I mean, you can always try that. So we're down 2-0, and now we get Rafa Silva. The fastest player on the pitch comes in for Adel Taarabt, who had a miserable game. But again, I don't think I guess I'll get to this now. This is where some people might want to stop listening because this has been building in me. But I'll try to keep it friendly.
Baby. Let it out, Capitano. Let it flow.
This guy's got skill. This guy is the football equivalent of an and-one basketball player. He's got the foot. He should be doing freestyle videos on YouTube. He's got the skills. The problem is he's not a midfielder. He's not a forward. Everyone says he plays behind. He's a good number 10, as they say, or a false 9 playing in behind the striker. 1 goal and 1 assist tells me otherwise. Yeah. He had plenty of opportunities to do that. Yes, I get it. He teamed up with Seferovic. So, like I said, we always come back to Seferovic. But still, 1 goal, 1 assist. He's not a threat to shoot. Yes, he scored 1 goal against Bournemouth in a preseason friendly. 1 goal against Bournemouth in a preseason friendly where he shot from the outside. Okay? That does not mean he's suddenly a threat to shoot from the outside. A player that wants to be that guy. He likes to play in between the lines. This is another problem. This manager wants that center mid to be a box-to-box mid. Neither he nor... I think Weigl can be that, but he's not being asked to be that right now. And if Weigel's going to be that, someone else has to play in the hole, which is what I think should happen, but that's beside the point. So we lose all shape with this guy in midfield. He does not, when we don't have the ball, we go down to 10 because he doesn't understand where to be, how to read the opponent. He doesn't know how to pressure. He runs full speed at people rather than angling his run when he presses. So he gets booked every other match. He got sent off against friggin' Bournemouth or against Rennes, one of those 2 teams. It was Bournemouth. He actually was suspended for the last friendly of the preseason because he got sent off for a late tackle because he doesn't know how to tackle. Yeah, he hustles. You know what? That's not enough for me. If it's and the same people that want to criticize, a Franco Cervi that can also, I think, who should have been given an opportunity in preseason to have a solid run at left back because we don't have another left back. We played Nuno Tavares, the kid, the whole preseason, and then we bring in a half-strength Grimaldo when the game matters. I don't know why, okay? I guess we think that, again, people are going to get mad at me. The reason Grimaldo is still at Benfica is because he's not that good. He would have been sold if he was as good as people think he is. Don't talk. There was 3 seasons ago, talk of him going to play for Pep at Manchester City. See, you see what I mean, people? That's a Manchester City supporter right there.
Well, he wouldn't even fit in the third string, fourth string.
And granted, he was much better then than he is now. But This guy, he's gonna be he's another Andre Almeida that's gonna be here forever. Because he's on high wages, and we got who's gonna take it on. He cannot defend year after year after year. We go into the Champions League and he is exposed, particularly him.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're 100% right, especially with Grimaldo coming forward. He's really good coming forward. Getting back, not so much.
Right, and then you don't supplement that with a left-sided midfielder that can get back in his place.
Yeah.
So where should we attack them? Gee, I wonder.
Yeah, especially when you're going against teams with the quality of the ones in the Champions League.
Oh, yeah.
Forget about it. You have no chance.
I don't know where Benfica fans get the notion that we are a Champions League club. We have been an embarrassment in this competition 3 years running. Was it 3 years ago? We were the first Portuguese team in history to get 0 points in the group stage of the Champions League, okay?
This is true.
Yes, it's sad. So all of a sudden, people are mad because we're going to the Europa League. Yes, we lose out. Here comes the money again. People think it's their money. And I guess some people, in fairness, people are club members. They pay club dues. So some of the money is, yes. But stop with the money. This is not an American sport with a salary cap, first of all. You don't have cap space to free up. You don't get extra cap space because you go to the Champions League. Yeah, you get a bunch of millions. Now we probably have to sell a player. But it's probably going to be Carlos Vinicius, to be honest. I don't know who else has any value. Million. Yeah. We get 25 and I'll be celebrating. But that's what this means. This means we have to sell a player. However, from a football perspective, a playing perspective, put away the financials. Okay? We have way too many financial experts out there. Self-proclaimed. And look at it for a second. How is this team ready to go play in the Champions League? We're going into a Europa League where some people now think we're the favorites, which is also ridiculous.
Really?
Because you got Roma and you've got you
Roma's
will have
overrated.
Okay, fine, but they're better than we are right now.
No, I like Benfica. I would 100% go with Benfica as the favorite here. No questions asked.
In the entire Europa League, you put in Benfica as the favorite.
Out of the teams that are in there right now, I know that the third place teams are going to get in from the Champions League. Out of the teams that are in there,
you would put Benfica above Tottenham right now?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I don't think so.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm going to tell you why.
Last week?
I'm going to tell you why I don't rate them right now. I think we can fix this problem and we can be among the best. But right now, we have one of the weakest, softest mentalities. You saw the way we crumbled when we went down a goal in this match.
It's true. Yeah,
we have such a weak mentality, and it comes from a lack of leadership. I'm hoping Vertonghen helps with that, but I'm sure there's a language barrier there right now. Right. That's the problem with going to get experienced foreign players is there is a little bit of a language barrier. The only guy who has no language barrier never plays, and that's Samaris. He's perfected the Portuguese language. You should see it, man. I mean, it's so frustrating because on the pitch he doesn't play enough, so he's obviously not playing well. He hasn't played well in a long time because he hasn't had minutes, and maybe he's not that type of player anymore. But he brings so much off the pitch, but that doesn't get transmitted when you're watching from the 32nd row every match. Although, last season, I swear he was the only one that cared. There was the match we drew 1-1 at Famalicão that meant that Porto could have been champion that night. Our Nimrod coaches are high-fiving because we got a point on the road. And Samaris is up there fighting tears because he knows that's it. Even though we were 8 points behind, it was never going to happen until it was mathematically possible. That guy he believed, or he at least, pushed, and you could see him suffering like a fan when we were playing poorly. And I don't know, there's a place for that in the team for me. You make a place, in my opinion.
Right, absolutely.
We having a volume issue?
No.
No, you hear me good? Okay.
I hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're low. I don't know if...
Hello? A little better?
This is the beauty of going live. No, you're pretty low. Is your battery low on your?
No, I'm plugged in, dude.
All right, let's move along. Let me see. So we move on. Benfica's going to get one back here, okay? They're going to pull one back, and it's going to be, well, it's going to be too late, to be honest. 90 plus 3. The smallest player on the pitch finally gets on the end of a cross and heads it in. But, again, too little, too late. I talked about what I thought. I thought, again, that PAOK came out with a perfect game plan and executed it to a perfection. It's my personal opinion. We have always struggled to play against a 5-man back line, and that's what they went to when they needed to.
Like you said, once that first goal came in, whole game changed, whole momentum changed, the mentality changed.
Oh, you're coming back. Good.
Comfortable to you guys went from comfortable to crumbled. Literally crumbled.
We literally crumbled. So let's take a look here. I'm going to bring up the player ratings so we can discuss this as soon as I find them. The right thing. And one moment. This old laptop still has a little bit of juice in it. All right, so the player ratings are loading up. There you see it. And of course, this internet is nice and slow. There we go. So there's the 2-1 result. And now we'll start with the ratings for the PAOK players. And these are cool, Leo, but this in the Champions League, it's missing the expected goal stat, which is one of my favorites because it really tells the story.
Right.
But it looks like it's missing it here. But let's start with PAOK. So I was wrong. Ingeston was the man of the match for PAOK. You see a 7.2 rating there. Zivkovic had a 6.3. Who do you think was the best player for PAOK?
For me, the best player for PAOK was definitely Ziolis. I'm a huge fan of Zioli. I just think that he brings something extra to PAOK. 18 years old. He's going to continue to get better. I really, really like this kid. I think that he has a huge future. He had minimal opportunities to get through, but he was able to create a couple chances. He was able to settle the game down when PAOK needed it the most. I love Ziolis.
Yeah, and that's a pretty hard job to be a wingback in a 5-man back line because you got to do both jobs. You got to get up and down the pitch, and he did a very good job attacking and defending. I liked him. Where is he? I liked this guy here, Pelkas. He got a low rating, but I liked him in this match. I liked the little things he did. The analytics sometimes are based on statistics, and not every player's job is a statistical one. Right. You can see the defenders are the highest rated players. They had clearances, they had steals, they had tackles. They're going to take the high ratings. Right. I'll just go down. Zivkovic 6.3, Crespo 6.1, Ingesson 7.2, Schwab 6.2, Varela 6.2, El Kadori 5.6, Mikalidis 6.0, Giannulis 5.8. You can pronounce that one there.
Yeah, Nuli.
The TZ.
Ziolis.
Ziolis, thank you. 5.7. Pelkas was a 4.4, and Akpom with a 4.9. But Zivkovic off the bench, you see here, 6.2, and Swiderski's 4.3. Considering he only played 30 minutes and the way that the analytic works, that's a heck of a rating for Zivkovic. Now you look at Benfica here. Odie had a 5.1 rating, which is, you said you were disappointed in him. That's not a great rating for a goalkeeper that, had some action. You see Andre Almeida is a 5.8 on the right. Ruben Dias has a good 6.5. For Tongan, a 4.9, but I think that's weighted heavily because of the own goal.
Absolutely.
You take away that own goal, and I think he's probably got a pretty solid game. Grimaldo, 5.1. So he was worse than Almeida, which, says it all. I'll go to the other side with Pizzi, 6.6. He was all right. I mean, I like him in a more central role. I would have liked him playing more over here instead of Tarapt, but that's my preference. And you already see this image gives a different lineup than what the Google image we looked at in the beginning showed. But Pedrinho 5.6, considering he was subbed off at the hour mark, pretty good. Weigl 5.9. He had something there is. It seems like Weigl is stuck in a role right now, and I don't think he's a true number 6, but it seems like he ends up between the two central defenders all the time. And he makes the first pass in the phase of construction out of the back. And then he kind of stays there. He doesn't get up the pitch as much. I'm the manager when he wasn't our manager was on television in Portugal last year after he finished winning the Copa Lib with Flamengo. And he was rating different players. And he said that Weigl is something very special, but there's still tweaks that needed to be made. And he said he knew what they were and he wasn't going to tell just in case. So he was already kind of plotting his return, I think, at this point. And I think Weigl would be better further up the pitch, personally, connecting passes. He's got decent vision. Sometimes, people will point to his mental game. He thinks the game twice as fast as his teammates, and they make him look bad sometimes. They're not on the same level with him, which happens sometimes. And I feel like he might be better served being further up the pitch, finding, our attackers, our dangerous guys. Taarabt was given a 5.8 here. Again, he does things like complete dribbles, complete passes. He's going to get a good rating. Problem is up here where it matters is we got the wrong number. So at the end of the day, that's the stat that matters. We got Everton was the man of the match overall, according to Goal Point here, this technology, 7.7. And I'm going to scroll down here and show you. They got a heat map for him right over here. So you can see where Everton plays most of his football right here with the heat map. And this is cool because I've talked about the heat map on the podcast. I've never showed it to you because this is the first real video podcast episode. But you can see in the attack, he's here all the time. And you see the yellow is even hotter. He shot from this spot probably 2 or 3 times. But you see he doesn't get in here where that PAOK goal came from. This is where I would like to see him, because then that ball comes straight across like that. But what it says there, Leo, it says shots were 2, on goal 1. Dangerous chances created 2. He had 4 passes for a shot. Okay, so 4 times he set somebody up with the goal scoring opportunity. 87% pass efficiency. He was 5 of 10 on dribbles. He had 2 steals and 3 interceptions. And then we got the stat line here. Total shots, PAOK 8, Benfica 16. Shots on goal 2-5. Actions in the opponent's area. This is a new statistic they didn't list last season. Benfica, 36 actions in the other team's area. That is a lot of time spent in PAOK's penalty area with very little to show for it. I like that statistic. Here's one we always lead with. Corners. We just continue to rifle corners and get nothing out of them. 80, and here we go. My favorite stats are coming up.
Oh, baby.
So pass efficiency, 86%. That's fine. That's where it should be. But you see, PAOK only had 65%. PAOK clears the ball. That's not a completed pass. You can have a lower efficiency. Vertical passes, PAOK has a 44% efficiency when they're passing the ball forward. We have a 72% efficiency passing the ball forward. There is no reason to have only gotten 1 goal in this match.
Completely.
It tells a story, but it also tells that, look at this right here. We're going to the Europa League with 71% possession. Like, I wish, honestly, that we had a heat map over here for possession to see where it is. It's before this line here. If we're attacking this goal, our possession is here and back. I guarantee it. And PAOK only 29%. They didn't need the ball. They scored when they had the opportunities. We need to be more efficient. At the end of the day, that is what matters. You need to be more efficient. So let's see if there's that is the stat line. All right. You have anything else to add, Leo?
I got nothing, man. Just tough defeat for you guys. Very upsetting to watch. Very tough on my pocket. My pocket still hurts. No problem, no problem. We'll get over it. But yeah, overall, just really disappointed performance from Benfica. But hey, Greek League is more than happy to take the coefficient points if PAOK can take care of business. So hey, thumbs up.
I could have a whole episode on what I think about the coefficient points. I bet you could. I guarantee I know the answer to this question, but in case people think we're the only ones, are you rooting for Olympiacos in the Champions League?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, so you think the same as I do for the coefficient points.
No, absolutely not. Don't care. Nope. I would be happier with no Greek team in the Champions League rather than just Olympiacos in the Greek.
Exactly.
Nope.
Exactly. Why don't you tell the listeners we got a new sponsor, both of us too. I explained last week that we are now in business. We are the PTB Network, your show, right. DGens United, this show, and the Parking the Bus podcast for now. It is the PTB Network. We got a new sponsor, don't we?
Yeah, we do, over at Better Than Vegas. These guys are excellent. These guys are creating a sports betting forum. They have been absolutely spectacular. You're going to see your boys' pretty face making picks, explaining why we make the picks. Some brand new adjustments coming on both of our sites as well, hopefully in the coming days. I know I have something on my sleeve that I'm pretty pumped up to roll out this weekend. So be sure to check out dgensunited.com. You guys are going to see a lot of improvements there. Be sure to follow us on Twitter, DGens United, DGens_United. But like I said, if you are a degenerate, be sure to check out the BTV network. A ton of good content is going on.
And not the BTV network we watch the matches on.
Yeah, not Benfica TV.
That was the best part of landing this sponsorship was that name association.
The BTV. Oh man. But yeah, check them out, man. Really good stuff. They have brand new handicappers coming in every week. Really good information, really good stuff. Always good to see different perspectives. But yeah, that's where we are right now. So be sure to be on the lookout, man. A lot of good stuff coming out for the PTB Media Network.
Excellent. And I also want to shout out the creators of the new theme song that those of you listening to the podcast heard at the beginning of the show. If you're watching on YouTube, go to the podcast and catch it. I have it posted on the Spotify with just the song. All right. It is our new theme song. Shout out to Agendas. All right. It's a couple of guys from Boston. One of them I grew up with, a Portuguese kid, Benfica fan. They're out there in LA now doing their thing with their music, trying to become, trying to make a living, trying to climb that ladder and be known as music producers. And they did a great job with that track. I hit them up and they were more than happy to let us use it. They mixed in some of the commentary as well and made it sound good. The old theme didn't sound good. There's a lot of white noise in it. These guys cleaned it up for me. They're great job. Pete and Jeff, shout out to them. Check them out. I got the social media links in the show notes. I also will have a link to the Better Than Vegas channel, to BTV. All right. And you can, so if you're interested, please visit our sponsors. They are very important to us. And I ask you, my supporters, to support those that support me as well. That way we can continue to bring better and better content to everybody. And what do you got coming up this week, Leo?
This week, getting ready for the NFL. We got some college football coming up this weekend as well. We have EPL. Be sure to be on the lookout for Premier League fantasy lineups. That is my specialty. You can find those at dgensunited.com. You can find those there Friday night. I will make sure that they're posted for Saturday morning and then Saturday night for Sunday morning as well. So be sure to be on the lookout for that. All right, guys. But other than that, another day being a DGen, man. Got to get ready. Eyes all over the place, ready to break down whatever comes our way. Yeah, that's pretty much it, man.
All right, man. Hopefully everybody will catch us on Sunday night on Parking the Bus, where we will have the Sunday night sports book once again. So make sure you go over to the Parking the Bus channel. I will most likely post it here on this channel as well. But I really need you guys to go over to the Parking the Bus and check out some of the stuff there. All right, that's going to do it for this week. I want to thank everyone for joining me. Thank you, Leo, for coming on at this time. I know it's a weeknight. It get late. You've got a money riding, and I know the Celtics are on. You've got other things going. I know you got other sports going on right
American
now.
rugby, baby.
American rugby, as I call it, is on. So thank you again for taking the time out to join me here. And maybe if we catch a Greek side in the Europa League, we can have you back on again.
Yeah, sounds good, man.
All right. Thanks, Leo. And everybody else, thank you for listening. This has been the season premiere, season 3 of Mr. Benfica, episode 85. I will catch you sometime, most likely Sunday. Remember, Benfica play Friday afternoon. The match is on Gold TV here in the United States. The contract was renewed, as I reported a few weeks ago. So find it, check your local listings. All right. And I'll be reviewing that match back in the solo format on Sunday. I'm going to guess maybe Saturday, but by Sunday night, it will be up before the Park and the Bus podcast. Thank you, everybody. This has been Mr. Benfica. I am the Mr. Mike Agostinho. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter at Benfica Mister, and I'll catch you next time. Carrega Benfica, Força Benfica. Let's pick our heads up. We got a whole season ahead of us. All right. There is probably 60 more matches to go. So let's one match at a time. Let's do this. Peace.